All right, I think that we are ready to get started. Welcome to our Teaching Kids About Money overview. If you are already enrolled in the course, excellent. Excited to have you here. If you are just checking it out, you're curious about it, excellent. You're in the right spot. I'm going to give you an overview of what the program is, about 20, but less than 30 minutes. So let's get started. This great man is Chief Seattle, and he was the chief of Native American tribe in what is the Seattle area. I learned about Chief Seattle when I was actually in Seattle a couple of years ago. They have this beautiful statue and a plaque. And it was one of the it was the message that he shared back to the White House when they had reached out and said, "Hey, we'd like to buy your land." And he gave this beautiful response and really encourage you to check it out. But what really stuck with me was he said no, said that I don't understand what it is that you're trying to do. What will happen to the land? What will happen to the animals? What will happen to humanity and civilization if you do the things that you're wanting to do? He talked about it as the end of living and the beginning of survival. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, whoa, the end of living and the beginning of survival. And it struck me that when we're kids, we're just living. We're having fun. It's everyday living. And then we go to school, we take on student debt, graduate, we need a job to pay for that debt. So we take on a job that maybe we don't like. And then we take on more debt. We lease an apartment, lease a car, buy a car. And all of a sudden now, we've made that transition that Chief Seattle warned of. We moved from living to now we're surviving. And how terrible. I thought, what can I do to help parents to position their kids for lives where they're not just stuck in a rat race. They're not stuck in jobs that they hate, to pay for crap that maybe they're not even benefiting from. So it's a little heavy, but that is where my heart and where my mind is and was when I created this program. So I think it's so important. And so I commend you for wanting to help your kids understand money so that maybe they don't make the same mistakes that you and I made. That's really fundamentally what I'm interested in. So don't they teach us in school about personal finance? And while more and more of that is happening now, and that's nothing but a good thing, I believe that the responsibility for teaching a child about money is your responsibility and my responsibility as parents. So the more curriculum that's out there, that's nothing but a good thing. But I think that it starts with you and I, and it starts at home if we are to do that. Now, I get it. Life is hard. You and I have a lot going on. We have so many things on our plates. We wear so many different hats. Adulting, being a grown-up is a very, very difficult thing. And I'm fond of telling people I've made tons of money mistakes. Throughout my 20s, I lived paycheck to paycheck. I was in credit card debt. I did not monitor my cash flow. I did not have a budget. I did everything wrong. Fortunately, I've also made a ton of great money decisions as well. But wherever you are at, if you feel like, if you're like me and you're like, what position am I? I'm not in any position to teach anybody else about money. You are, because you're wise enough to recognize, okay, I need resources to help my kids be good at money. And that's what this is for. That's why I've created this, to give you everything you need to teach your kids how to interact with money properly. So I want to give you everything you need to help your kids be good at money so they can grow up to be responsible adults, to be good citizens, to be financially secure, because I think that that's really important. So what's your goal? If your goal is the same as mine, to do that, to help your kids be financially successful so they can be good people and humans and citizens, then I think our goals are aligned. So what we want happy kids who turn out to be happy adults, who are financially independent, who work jobs that they love, that have careers that are rewarding and all that. We want them to carry this joy with them. We do not want 30-year-olds living in our basements, playing video games. At least that's not what I want. Number one, I don't have a basement, so it'd be hard. That means they'd just be like around me all the time, and love my kids, but I don't want them to have that whole failure to launch thing. I'm sort of kidding, but I'm definitely not. I want them to go out into the world and make their own lives, be able to do that. So a couple of different ways for you to consume this content. You can do it as a sprint. So you can do it 7 days, boom, 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 boom. You can join our 7-day sprint and each day complete certain modules, and it's laid out for you. Or you can do it the other way, the good old fashioned way, and complete the modules as you are able to do so. You're welcome to do both. You're welcome to do either or, however you want to do it. When you enroll in the course, you have lifetime access. So you can take the sprint as many times as you want. We're constantly updating our materials, so you'll always have access to that. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. And a lot of the concepts that I talk about in the course, it's not that they're overly complicated, but discover that if you can use an image, so much more powerful than me telling you about dollar cost averaging, whatever that is. If I can show you a picture of something, that's powerful. And then if I can use a phrase, a saying, that's even more powerful. Maybe you've heard of these. Pay yourself first. Stay out of debt. So this idea of first principles, what is true? No matter what is going on, these are the fundamental concepts, ideas that we need to learn. So I broke those down. Things like money doesn't grow on trees. There's value in work. Stay out of debt, diversify. All these ideas I put into a picture and then a phrase that makes it really easy for you as a parent who doesn't need to be an expert in personal finance or money to reinforce these things. Okay, so that's really what I've tried to do, is to take difficult concepts and make them super easy. You don't need to understand personal finance. It really is 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, I've made it super simple because that's the way that I like to consume information. So that's the way that I teach information. And I know that if I'm going to help you be confident teaching kids about these concepts, that I needed to make it really, really, really easy and simple. So that's what I've done. So here are the fundamental concepts that I think that you need to help kids with. You need to understand how cash flow works. You need to understand how to put a budget together. You need to understand how to save and invest money. You need to be able to successfully manage credit cards, credit score. And we need to understand taxes, not the most exciting stuff in the world, but again, these are the fundamental concepts that we need to learn. And then you don't want to teach your 2-year-old about investing in the stock market, because that's not going to work unless, let me take that back. If your 2-year-old's ready to go, by all means do that. But for the most part, there are developmental stages that all kids go through when they're ready to start learning new information. And I broke all that down so that here's the age when you can and should be introducing these ideas. From a career development standpoint, I hope that you enjoy your work. I hope that you do. Way too many of us hate our jobs. So I want to help your kids explore meaningful work, to learn about entrepreneurship. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to become an entrepreneur, but if you can expose them to it, and if it takes, well, I think that's a really exciting thing. I 100% want to raise a generous and kind human being. My kids, I've got 2 boys. I want them to be generous, kind, and giving. So we talk a lot about giving, or not a lot, but giving is certainly part of the curriculum. And then this has got to fit into your life. You need to be able to not necessarily make this part of your everyday life, but I go through and I help you to fit this into many different aspects of your life, like when you're going grocery shopping or you're shopping for anything, how you can incorporate these kinds of conversations into your everyday life. Whenever you are going through your personal budget or doing your tax returns or reviewing your investments, how can you take these lessons and then plug it into what you're already doing, and then ideas for incorporating things that maybe you should be doing that you're not currently doing in really turnkey fashion. So I'm super mindful of that, and I've worked hard to actually do that as well. So these are the different modules that you will go through. You go through a values exercise, which is immensely, immensely valuable. The ideas and images, so those first principles, the pictures that I talked about, when to talk to your kids about these things. Giving your kids a salary. This is a huge one. There's a module on how to save money, module on debt, cash flow, giving, career, maximizing income, investing, understanding credit, understanding budgeting, entrepreneurship, taxes, and then having family meetings about money. So how to do all those things effectively. So there you go. Those are the different modules that you will go through. How do you eat an elephant? First and foremost, please don't eat an elephant. That would be terrible. But how do you how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. How you solve any big problem is you take small steps. It's incremental. So making big changes, you do it incrementally. Getting ready for retirement, you do it incrementally. Teaching kids about money, you just do it incrementally as they're growing. Now, as I say that, it's never too late. You know, if your kid's 18 years old, you should still take this course and teach your kids. If they're 1 year old, you should still take this course and be helping them. If you're a grandparent, you can take this course and it will help you. So what I don't want you to do is to procrastinate, to wait. Because when you procrastinate, nothing happens, nothing is created, and therefore you won't help your kids to be financially successful. So how much does the program cost? It costs $100. So it's not prohibitively expensive. I know the $100 isn't free, but it's not prohibitively expensive. How do you know if it'll work for you? If you go through the modules, I guarantee that it will help you to help your kids get better at money. How long will it take? I showed you the modules. You could do it in the form of a sprint, where we run the sprint on a monthly basis, where it's just 7 days and you get it done, or you can take it however long you need to. And it's good to go back and certainly revisit it as well. Do you need to be good with money? No, you don't. No, you don't. I give you everything that you need. What if I get stuck and can't figure something out? We've got resources. I love when my students email me and ask. So please do that. You'll have my email address. We have a private community that you can have access to. We also have something called office hours on a monthly basis where you can just drop in and get any questions answered. So if you get stuck, we've got the resources to be able to help you. So imagine your child at 25 years old, or rather think about 2 children at 25. One child understands, I need to pay myself first. So when they get their first job, they start putting 10% of their earned income into an account for the future. Imagine if you had started that at 16 and you did that all through your life. Okay. Imagine if they stayed out of debt. So they graduated college with no student loans. They never got into credit card debt. And imagine if they took a diversified approach to investing. Instead of putting all their money in one thing, they took a diversified, smart approach to it. Would that child be prepared or be positioned for financial success? I think so. What if the opposite were true? They're not paying themselves first. They wait until they're 30 years old or 40 years old to start saving any money. So they're paying everybody else first. What if they're saddled with credit card debt, like most of America, living paycheck to paycheck, and they put all their money in one investment? The stock market crashes, they lose it. So obviously, I would rather have my child at 25 years old, armed with those 3 lessons. If you just taught them those 3, they'd be well positioned for long-term financial success. We go way beyond those 3, and you can help position your kid for success. Success is available to everybody. We all know at this point in time that we need to put the airbag or the mask on ourselves first, and then put it on the kid, right? So if you are not in a place financially and you want to get to that place, I invite you to check out our DIY financial plan course. We have a course called Get on the Same Money Page as your partner, so your significant other. The DIY financial plan course is $400. This course is $100. We also have our Academy coaching program, which is $500. And that gets you access to all of our courses, all 19 of our courses. It gets you access to our live monthly workshops. It gives you access to everything in Money Alignment Academy. And it also gets you one one-on-one coaching session every year. So that is a really powerful thing. So just food for thought. Excited to have you checking this course out, because that means you want to help your kids be good with money and get them off on the right foot. And I can't commend you enough. So financial success available to you, your kids. You can make it happen. Thanks for checking this out. Enroll now. Excited to have you as part of the program. Thanks a lot.